Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Hopefully you're having a nice day or will have a nice day. So we have the little Frankenstein here. I did a video on this thing. The main deal with this thing is the recoil was in-op. I did some paint work to it, sold it to a guy in Venice, Florida. He said he used it for 15 minutes. It stopped. And it would start and then stall, and then he said he finally gave up because it wouldn't do anything at all. So I recall sending this out with a little bit of gas, and I noticed the tank is full here, so I don't know if I have maybe an ignition problem with this, or did he contaminate the tank with his fuel? Let's try to figure it out. The oil looks extremely high. I wouldn't have sent it out with that much oil. Let me wipe this thing down. He didn't say anything about adding oil. Maybe he thought he would to solve the problem. You know, people add oil and water when their vehicle doesn't work, thinking it's going to solve a problem, because they do the basics. So yeah, we're way over full here. I wouldn't have given him all that extra oil. Oil is expensive, so I don't know what's going on here. So that's an issue. I'm kind of meticulous about oil level. So I've got a clean bleach container cut in half. I've got my turkey baster. I just want to see right away if we can find out if this is contaminated gas. The problem with these quantums is that the tank goes lower back here where the fuel line is. I don't see anything right away. What I may do is tilt this thing forward to get the water, if there's any, to the front. Nothing. That stuff there was probably in the tube, that debris. I don't see any water. So let me try starting this. I suppose I could pour off this oil, but let me see what it does. This is a automatic choke, no priming. Let me pull on it, see what it does. Could be a bad plug. Okay, nothing. So we can do a little troubleshooting. Let me take the air filter off. We'll juice it, see if it kicks off. If it doesn't kick off, we have a spark issue. Notice it looks like an NGK plug. I remember looking at this thing. It was rusty, but the rest of it looked okay. Okay, choke wafer's closed as it should be. Let me grab ether, real starting fluid, nitro. Nitro brand. Still soggy here on my lawn. Okay, that was a lot. I'm tilting it back so it runs into the carb. There we go. Now we're cooking. We're cooking with ether. Okay, let's try it. Nothing. Okay. Fired off, stalled. Would not start again. So it sounds like a fuel issue. Let me try working on it from here. I believe it's 1/2 inch for the bowl. What can I do? Pinch off the fuel line and see what's in the bowl. Let me try getting some vice grips. Get that pinched off. Look for a 1/2 inch socket. I may end up having to take the whole thing out, pour his fuel out. Might be old. I sure hope he doesn't contaminate the one I gave him. I gave him a Toro with the Kohler. Okay, I got a 1/2 inch here. I told him specifically when he took this one to get rid of the fuel that he had, empty out the container, let it dry in the sun for an hour, get some fresh fuel. Maybe thought I was bullshitting him. So that kind of sucks. Sucks for him to drive all the way back to me. Sucks for me to work on this thing twice. So he got a Turo with a Kohler engine. Okay, what can I put under here to catch that fuel? I want to check it out, see if the fuel's got water in it. That'll be a good place to start. Okay, I think I got something. I got the top of a fabric softener cap doohickey. That'll be just perfect enough to catch what's coming out of here. For all of you that are saying, why am I working on the ground? I don't want to lift this thing up on the tailgate if I don't have to. Okay, a lot of shit's coming out of the bowl. Is it just catching all the dirt as it drips off the bowl, the gasoline? Or is there shit in the carburetor? Okay, watery. I'll show you. I don't think it was water that was on the bowl. Bowl was pretty dry, but it had some dirt on it, so I can see how the gas knocked the dirt down. But this water, I believe, was from inside the bowl. Just a tight fit under here, trying to Get this bowl off. Okay. Little tight there. Here we go. So that dirt was probably on the side of the bowl and got knocked down, but there is some moisture down there. I can see it. And then you can see in the bowl itself just a lot of debris. I'm gonna have to call this guy back and tell him what I found, not to use the fuel he's using, because he's gonna think I'm a terrible mechanic. I may be terrible, but I still work under a shade tree. So that's the deal with this thing. We got to get the tank off, start fresh again. I don't think I need to take the carb off itself. What had settled in the bottom of the carburetor, I think, is in the bowl, is what our issue was. It was just water. Water is all. No issue with the coil. It fired off. Just water. See, all this dirt here was what was knocking off the bowl and into that cap, so I'm not worried about that. What the big issue was is the condensation in the bowl. So that's what we found out on this Frankenstein. I remember we had looked at this. The recoil was from something else, but we had discovered it was in 08 due to the model number. I forget how we determined that. Oh, by the serial number. Looks like 2008 here on the serial number, the 917-370-433. Serial number begins with 0808, so it's a 2008. So we know what we need to do on this thing. I'm gonna let the channel locks up and see if we get fuel flow. Yeah, we do. Let me catch some of it in the bowl, see if it's watery. Then put the vice grips back on here. Okay, let me reposition them. Okay, there, I snipped it off. So you know what, I may just put this back on because I don't have any water in this sample. I think what had happened is the water ended up in the bowl. There was nothing in the tank. So let me clean this up a little bit. We'll put it back together and try it. Try it with just doing a bowl cleaning. Then I got to get a hold of this guy and tell him. That's not to say that the condensation, maybe I missed it in the tank and it shook itself loose, or when he added his fuel, did he add water to it? because I don't send them out on a full tank. I know you guys say I should, but I educate them on getting good fuel. So it should be their responsibility, is what I'm thinking. You know, the only thing that it would do sending it out with the full tank is they can cut their grass a couple of times on my fuel, then they add their crappy fuel, and then the machine craps out. So let me blast out the jet, maybe pick it with a wire, a bread wrapper wire. But I had already done that. But I'm going to do it again. So I'm still trying to maintain my inventory. Yeah, it's clean. I just put a wire through it. So we may just rectify this thing, and then I can turn it around and resell it. I got to cut my grass too at some point, but it's still super wet, but it's getting better. It's still spongy, but the blades are not wet, so I can go ahead and do it. It's just that I'm going to be squishing through spongy soil. Okay. I'm just going to take my air gun and kind of gently blast some air. On the float. Somebody's coming into the airport. Who is it? Frontier. They're another carrier like Allegiant, offering $49.99 one-way trips. They're trying to corner the secondary market, the smaller airports where maybe the landing fees aren't so much outside of the big cities. They probably won't go into Atlanta Hartsfield, but they'll go to an airport 10 miles outside of Atlanta to save money, and it saves people money on the ticket price. So I would do that. Okay. Let me release the floodgate here with the fuel, see if it leaks. I don't see any leaks. Give it a minute to fill the bowl. Still no leaking. So I'll call this guy, like I said, and say, did you empty out your gas container and let it dry, or did you just use the fuel you had in it? People think that fuel doesn't go bad and what they bought 6 months ago is good enough, and no, it's going to collect water if you're not using rack fuel. So we're still dry here on the bowl, so no leaking. I'm going to put the filter back on. If all goes right, we're not going to need nitro. This will be good if this starts. I like quick and easies because I've been getting some dogs lately that have had multiple issues. But we did spend a lot of time on this thing. It was kind of a crap box to start with. Okay, Dino, you hold down the fort. Talk to Clucky. I'm going to pull on it. My guess it was him. I'll tell you why. Because I added a little bit of gas when I sent it out the door. He probably started it, cut the grass. 15 minutes later, my little bit of fuel that I had sent it out with burnt off. He comes along, adds his fuel, contaminates it, can't start it. So his thing of where it died after 15 minutes may not be accurate. The accurate thing would be my fuel ran out after 15 minutes. He added his contaminated fuel and he couldn't get it going, or what he said, it would start and then stall, which is indicative of water contamination. So no harm, no foul. Murkiness, that snot was just the dirt was just from the side of the bowl. Anyway, that's all. No harm, no foul. I'll put this on the ready to go section after I drain off some oil. That's too much oil. Didn't really want to work on it twice, but it was an easy fix. Yeah, we're still way high. So I'll drain that off, use that oil in my little handheld oil squirter. Since it's not beat up, I can salvage that and use it in my squirter. Anywho, appreciate you coming out, looking at this crafty turd 2008 675. This is going to go out the door hopefully soon. Thanks you guys. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Adios amigos.